Welcome everybody to another episode of Transformational Blueprints. Today we're going to be talking to Doug Nissinoff, who is the owner and founder of Intelligent Ventures, a VC specifically for pre-seed to Series A health tech startups. Doug, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So just to give everybody a bit of context, would you mind just talking a little bit about yourself and your background and how you got to where you are today, Doug, if possible?
Yeah, absolutely, Mario. So I am based in Florida, and I grew up as a native Floridian. My journey, I studied biology at Florida State, was a med student, or a pre-med student, was a terrible one, and ended up changing paths pretty quickly.
Yeah.
From there, I decided to work in clinical research in Tampa, where I worked with dermatology and psychiatry patients. Cool job, didn't really pay too well, so decided, okay, let's go further in my education, see how it goes. Studied biotechnology at Georgetown and did my master's there, and then moved to New York, where I worked in investor relations consulting. So I worked with publicly traded biotech pharma companies, and it was a cool gig. Worked 80-hour work weeks and burnt out. Said, okay, I'm going back to Florida. That was that. And when I moved here, I worked for an international consultancy where I helped a Danish consulting firm open to Fort Lauderdale. But while I was doing that, I had that itch to work with startups. And I was trying to meet people who were in VC, and I reached out to one guy on LinkedIn because life sciences in VC in Florida is just not. It's not here. It's like Boston, maybe New York, and San Francisco. Yeah. And I reached out to the gentleman and said, "Hey, I think you're a life sciences VC. I would love to talk to you." And he said, "Awkward, I'm a banker, but yeah." I was okay. I'm 25, just trying to make it 26.
Yeah.
And we ended up meeting for drinks, and he tells me that he licensed the technology out of a university in Boston. It was a MRI compatible robot that does brain surgery.
Okay.
And I said, "Wow, that's really cool. How can I help?" And he looked at me and goes, "Well, the firm you work for in New York want to charge me $18,000 for a month for consulting services. Will you do it for equity?" And I said, "Yeah, let's go. Let's have some fun and see where it goes." Fast forward, it's a company called AIM Medical Robotics, and I worked with them, and they ended up raising $3 million for their seed round. They've since raised about $80+ million for their Series A, and they're great. They've done, they're dosing, or the robots now working with humans and stuff. It's crazy what they're able to accomplish.
Okay.
And so I had this idea that, well, other companies probably can benefit from this, and so I started my own consulting firm, and through that, to date, I've consulted for over 25 startups in the life sciences, anything from pure play drugs, biotech, pharma, to medical devices, to one company was actually over the UK. It was a way to grow meat in a bioreactor so that you never have to kill an animal again.
Wow.
Did you ever see Black Mirror, the show?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, anything that came out of there, I probably worked with it. At some point in my career, yeah. And so I had this great pattern recognition and decided to launch a fund back in February 2023, which hindsight's 2020, I knew absolutely nothing about running a fund back then, but I launched it. So it's called Intelligent Ventures, and I just kind of failed upwards. And fast forward, we're a $1 million fund. We pre-seed and seed stage startups at the intersection of AI and healthcare. We have 25 investors in the fund. We're a combination of doctors, lawyers. We have tech folks. We have exit founders. They're all very hands-on and wonderful. It's been great.
Okay.
We've invested in 5 startups, and we actually just launched a national accelerator program too. So it's a 10-week program where startups apply for funding, and we right up front we do 25K checks. Put them through our programming here in Tampa for 3 days, 9 weeks of virtual programming, and then a demo day in New York City where they pitch to our room full of investors.
Okay.
We have quite a few awesome sponsors lined up and some really cool programming along the way. So it's been a wonderful journey, and that's where we're at.
That sounds awesome. So obviously you're coming across a lot of founders in health tech. What do you think makes a great founder, and how do you assess them?
You know, there's this silent it factor. It's so subtle. That's why it's important for us to meet with as many startups as possible. We've had 800 companies apply for funding in 3 years.
Wow.
Actually, close to 850. Yeah, we get about 20 to 30 a week.
Wow.
You start to get that pattern recognition. Like there are certain boxes we check when just to make sure we get on the call. Like, are they matching our investment criteria? And if so, we get on the call. That's literally it. Yeah, we don't even even if we look at it and go, this is probably a bad idea. Because sometimes you get on the call and you just meet this founder who has that it factor. They'll chew through glass to just win. Their back will be against the wall and it doesn't matter. They'll figure their way out of the situation. They've run out of cash, but they'll figure out a way to make it work. Like they'll hustle their way into it. Life's gonna throw them crap and they're just gonna keep on going. That's a good founder. Because when you invest in the stage we invest in, which really is, for lack of better words, it can be an overglorified shower thought that they come to us with. Like they're like, this is a good idea, and then they reach out to VCs and like, it's worth $10 million. It's like, you were just in the shower with this one yesterday, bro. Come on. Come on. But sometimes you meet people when they're coachable and you know, you watch their progress and next thing you know, they've raised money. They've gone into healthcare systems. They've pivoted 40 times over, and that's fine. You should. So we're just looking for that person who is hungry.
Okay. What drew me to you and how we first got speaking was your state of the industry report from 2026 around AI in healthcare. And, you know, I spent many days reading it and digesting it. And there's some really interesting statistics. So for any listeners out there that want to understand a little bit more about the industry, go on to Intelligent Ventures and download it because it's a really good piece of thought leadership. But in there,
thank you.
The data showed that 71% of AI healthcare founders are building in SaaS, while diagnostics and devices are underbuilt. Why do you think founders are avoiding the harder, more underbuilt categories?
Oh, there's a lot to it. So we actually, believe it or not, just this morning, like right before this call, I announced our latest update report. It just dropped.
Okay. I'll definitely give that a read.
Yeah, it's like a 30-page update. So it's a mid-year report. And we're now up to 800 startups. And so I ran 50 different AI agents to go through, and I think I spent about $200 on credits, GPUs, or credits, whoops. But we looked at every single deck again. And we also kind of guessed how we were doing. Believe it or not, healthcare SaaS. So I think the number initially was like 55% were healthcare SaaS companies, and that number grew to like closer to 60% this time. It's just so easy to build right now. Like, I have you on one screen. I'm looking at Claude Code on my other screen, and
thank you.
I have but I have it running agents as we speak. Like I have it doing LinkedIn outreach and a few other things. So it's not that hard to make software anymore. And actually, software as a service is very challenging. We haven't made any bets in that space just yet. We've made bets in medical devices and diagnostics. The reason, even though we have SaaS as a vertical, I'm wondering if, and I don't want to be the one who, the phrase SaaS apocalypse, like people are saying that SaaS is dead. And I kind of am starting to wonder if that's true. Because I did a consulting project recently where I worked with a software company to help them sell their product. We got in front of like 50 different people and no one was buying the software. Comes down to they had really robust data and a strong data set that was proprietary, but that wasn't enough to sell the product. My Claude subscription is like what, $100, $200 a month, something like that. That's what you're up against. And for what it's worth, I've vibe coded my way out of paying for quite a few things. I don't use Airtable anymore. I vibe coded our own stuff. I don't, why would I pay $200 a month when I can just build it? Chug 3 cups of coffee and overnight be done with that. Right. So that's why SaaS, like people are going towards it because it's easy. It's not oftentimes it's not regulated. Medical devices and diagnostics is really really regulated. So not everyone wants to do that. Not everyone has the expertise to do that. No one wants to go raise millions of dollars for something for the FDA to shoot it down.
All the patience to do it as well. Those things by the time you get clearance takes time. It's not like we've just close a seed round, and then next year we're going to go Series A. The year after we're going to do Series B. You've got to wait for the FDA approvals to come through, and that takes time. And sometimes people just want, instant gratification, right? And quick results.
Yeah.
And funding is one of the measures that they measure for those results. Not, don't agree with that, but some people do.
It's 100% true.
Now, what do you think people should focus on building then now? So it's not just another, I think you coined it last time we spoke, Me Too company.
Yeah. I think one of the things that like, if you ever look at Y Combinator and what they recommend, they don't do incremental improvements. You go for the moonshots. Go for something that's really transformational. If you're going for venture backing, that's the way to think of it. That's what VCs want to see. No, there are incremental improvements, and just go raise some angel funding. That's fine. Business model fits. Works for that. For VC, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
If I were to build some of the things that are way too complicated, it would be like revenue management systems, or complicated. They're too crowded. And Scribes is I can't tell you how many times a week I'm pitching Scribe. I think the statistic, my friends over major healthcare or medical device system, and they called me and said, "Hey, real quick, run the numbers. How many Scribes are in your pipeline?" And I said, 1 in 20.
Yeah.
Don't build another damn Scribe.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
But some things that you could really think about, I look at AI and biomanufacturing, right? So the world's most expensive drugs are cell and gene therapies, but sometimes they're functional cures for disease. They're like $2-3 million a dose sometimes.
Yeah.
And it comes down to it's very hard to make it. And so any way you can automate, remove the human factor that could cost extra money.
Cheaper. Yeah.
That's
reduce the costs. Yeah.
Yeah, reduce the cost. You need regulation change for that, but that's a hilltop problem. That's not a whatever investment problem. Some other things are just looking for really specific niches and just owning them. Wearables are actually on the rise right now. They're hot. Like Whoop just raised a ton of capital. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a wristband. Yeah. No, it doesn't even have a electronics like I wear an Apple Watch.
It just tells you what you're sleeping, your health habits, your heart rate, things like that. But it's not got a screen. It's all linked to an app, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. There is rise in that. So there's plenty of ways. We outlined in our new report a whole page dedicated to just where people should be focusing on building. And I encourage them to check it out. If someone's like listening to this and they're looking to build something, go take a look and see if that gets the creative juices flowing. And if you build another Scribe, I will fly to you and smack you with the fly swatter. Like
you'll get my Claude Code LinkedIn outreach.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what was quite fascinating about Intelligent Ventures, the LP committee are physicians, clinicians, so you've gone industry specific, and you're not the only VC to do that, of course not, but I was quite impressed by that committee. What does a physician or a clinician catch in a deal review that a traditional VC partner from a finance background might miss?
That's a good question. I mean, they're the ones who are living it. It's very easy to put on paper, oh, doctors will pay this and they'll use it. I have plenty of doctors who invested in us who look at something and go, the hell if we will, and no, we will not use it.
Yeah.
So they actually give us they're the ones who are actual users for some of these products. They're the ones who understand the patient needs and the workflows.
Yeah.
And oftentimes a founder, the founders are technical. They haven't been a charge nurse dealing with patients. They have no idea what their workflows are. They don't, for SaaS, for example, how many people are excited to learn a new piece of software? New login credentials to remember, or new no one's gonna use no one wants to do that anymore.
No.
So the clinicians, and then the other thing is there are certain disease states that we can look at. Like, for example, our first investment was in a company called Aged Diagnostics, which it's for liver disease, MASH specifically. Our clinicians were able, one of them was an ER doc, and she was able to say, I think we misdiagnosed MASH just about every single day in the hospital. And if we had this and we were able to implement it, it would be a game changer.
Yeah.
So that perspective, a finance bro with a Patagonia vest cannot. There you go.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
How many company AI healthcare startups completed or filled out the report? Did you say 850?
Yeah. That
Yeah.
one, I think we had like 820-ish.
Fun.
Yeah.
What's the pattern that separates the ones that you fund, versus the 95% that you did, probably higher than that you didn't?
When they all have that.
They're not scribes.
Yeah, not scribes. That's it. Not scribes. You get money. Here you go. No, I say they're all good founders. Like they match that criteria I talked about earlier. Like they have that grit.
Mhm.
But we look for undeniable traction, signed letters of intent, if not paying customers from healthcare systems or biopharma, whoever your customer might be. We want to see you don't have to raise a substantial amount of capital, but we're okay with being the first VC. But we want to see at least angels who have come in and backed it. Like, if you're able to get like 4 or 5 doctors, like let's say you're creating something for, I'm just making this up, oncology.
Yeah.
And you have 4 or 5 oncologists who have put in even small angel checks called $5,000 into your company. That means oncologists are looking at your oncology product and saying, I believe in it.
Yeah.
That's good. And if you have signed letters of intent, which actually costs $0, you don't need to raise a penny to do that. You need a phone and a good deck. That's all you need. Like, don't tell me you need $10 million for this. Go talk to these people and say, will you sign a piece of paper that says, if this exists, I pay this much for it? You don't need to sign binding. Well, you do.
Yeah.
That's not that hard. If you can do that, okay. It shows me that once we pump money into your product, you build it, you already have people who will pay for it. And we're not the only investors who are willing to take a risk on you.
Okay. Yeah, makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
When you're in front of a technical team of an early stage AI health tech startup, what's the first thing that tells you, they're the real deal versus AI washing?
Yeah. We have a real plan for data. So our whole thesis is on proprietary data is the moat. That's what we like to say.
Yep.
So it's not that GPT wrapper. Like, one of the questions I like to ask is, okay, where are you getting your data from? How are you training your AI models? There's a bad answer, a decent answer, and a great answer. A bad answer is we're just, from a publicly available data source. An okay answer is we're going to start with publicly available data sources and work our way in, and we're going to figure out something else. A great answer is we start with publicly available data sources. We are already in discussions with healthcare systems where we can access their data. And we also have found a way to integrate into our economic model where every time we get a new client or customer, we can train our AI models on their data and continuously reiterate.
Yeah.
That's how you build a flywheel that Claude cannot reproduce tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Because and I think I read one of your LinkedIn posts, I think it was you that said it, most AI healthcare startups are full of it. Give us a specific sort of non-obvious tell that gives it away in a pitch. That isn't that bad answer, by the way.
Yeah, like what's a non-obvious good answer for AI, you mean? A non-obvious one, I think when they talk about it, really is the fine print of when they get client acquisition. Okay, let's say you're selling into biotech. Let's say you're an AI for drug discovery company.
Yep.
And we get a lot of this, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's say they come to us with this all the time. We have signed partnership deals with J&J and with Flagship Pioneering and Merck. Sounds really sexy when you first hear that.
Yeah.
But then you look in the data room, and it's like a one-time $25K deal. And that's just a consulting contract. That's not venture math, right? That's not going to lead to $1 billion exit yet.
Yeah.
But one thing that can be smart is at least, hey, it's a $25K contract, but we get total access to in training our models on this, and we're using that as a flywheel to build a really robust product. It may not be obvious, but even just little things in the contract that they sign with J&J.
Yeah.
Does it say that they have access to that data? We ask them questions.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because okay, it's a small deal. Yes, it's nice to have J&J on your deck, but like,
access. What access you get with J&J, that's the important thing, not the brand.
Right. And it's not obvious when you first read that.
Yeah. Because as you say, it's all about proprietary data, so that can come from anyone, right? As long as it is proprietary. So, okay. Are there any deals or a specific deal maybe that you passed on that, you now look on with regret? Be honest.
Yeah, there was one company, and I don't know even if it's regret. It probably wasn't a fit for us. The founder came to us and he was doing something. I want to say it was with like C. elegans or something, like some sort of really niche animal model for drug testing.
Okay.
And I just remember going to my team and being like, who the hell is going to invest in this?
Yeah.
Some major VCs invested in that.
Right. They got something that you missed, or the other way around.
Whether or not it takes off, keep in mind we just started deploying in May of 2025, so we're, I haven't
Still
seen the exits. Yeah, we haven't seen him very well, and I'm he's a great guy. I love that founder.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking this is silly.
Yeah, and, good founder, bad product.
Yeah, no,
in your mind, obviously, but obviously we won't know that, will we, until the future?
Yeah, here I'm looking it up now. You got backed by Kozlo Ventures and Tim Draper.
Doing all right then, so fine. Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put my foot here in my mouth and just keep taking more phone calls with founders. Yeah.
Fair enough. What's a company in your portfolio where, and I know the fund's only been running since sort of May last year, but where the technical team completely changed your read on the deal, for better or for worse, by the way?
Yeah. There's one company that's really, it's a company called Adappear. It's a camera that goes in the corner of any healthcare system, and it can wirelessly monitor blood pressure, respiration rate, pulse ox, and I think fall detection and prevention as well. And I remember just getting off the call and being like, that sounds like a bullshit claim to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do it at all. But then I got to know the founder. I mean, chief of anesthesiology at UCSF, MD, PhD out of Hopkins. And he has so many great inventions behind him that when I read the papers, I said, "Oh my God, I actually think he might be able to do it." So we backed him.
Okay.
It was just one of those too good to be true type of things, but we'll see.
We'll see how that goes. For any CTO or VP of engineering in a pre-seed or seed healthcare startup right now, what's the one signal they should send to investors that most technical leaders miss?
That you actually understand that there's a need for it.
Yeah, so product market fit, proprietary data. You've said, obviously.
Yeah, well, just are people actually going to need this? Like, if you think about how researchers are trained, they're trained to publish papers and get prestige that way, and get grant funding. That's how they are trained from a very early age. They're not trained to like people will actually buy this, And so if they're able to come to that point, like really listen to what people need and then build it, it's a very different story.
Would that be a key metric that you wish more founders as well as CTOs and VPs of engineering shared with investors? Or are there other metrics that you think these are also really important?
And I'm wondering if it's really the engineer's job.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the stage of the company. If it's like they're co-founders, if they're co-founders, it's their job.
Yeah, that's their job.
And I think that when you're really first trying to build something, that's the right time to ask, not when you've raised $5 million from Kozla and Tim Draper. So early on. So I guess, at that stage, they should be wearing multiple hats, including the go-to-market strategy. Or at least partner with somebody who's doing that work with them.
Okay. What would you tell a technical founder who's, who you've invested in or not invested in actually, about sort of assembling their first engineering hires, and predominantly a lot of founders, certainly technical founders generally tend to be quite young, really cracked engineers, got a great idea. Most of the time don't have any leadership experience, probably have never hired. So what would you tell someone like that about their first engineering hire?
It ties back to the last answer, which is make sure before you even hire anyone, you really know what you need to build.
Right.
Yeah, that it just comes to that. Engineering hires they're becoming more of a dime a dozen in certain senses. Like software engineers are numerous.
Yep.
And the barrier to entry to
Hello.
it's not as hard as it was. It's not as costly. Like, yeah. Now, invent something novel, you still should hire someone. But like once you've really figured out what it is that needs to be built,
yeah,
and you need an engineer that is just willing to pivot. Like a lot of them are very type A, this is how it needs to be done.
Yeah.
And in the startup world, you need to pivot a million times over. So you need someone who's okay with that. And as long as you find someone who's nimble, you should be okay with your first hire.
Scrappy, nimble, and adaptable.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. How you measure that is a different matter, right? Give us one prediction from the next State of AI healthcare report, the 2027 one. What do you think's going to be the sort of top headline for that?
Well, right now, agentic AI is really becoming hot.
Yeah.
It didn't exist until, I was looking at pitch decks. In 2023, not a single pitch deck said the word agentic AI, and now 15% of them mention it.
Well,
I think that it's becoming the automation engine that's really growing, and we're going to continue to see it to do so. We're also seeing some cool activity in the markets, right? Like Claude just launched their life sciences arm, and they're actually going into drug discovery. We are seeing M&A activity going on in the health tech space that makes it exciting to build and gives you a good light at the end of the tunnel to go there. I think healthcare, we are in a weird intersection because AI is the fastest moving sector out there, and healthcare is the slowest moving sector out there. So it's a matter of how quickly we can get healthcare executives and leaders to stop dragging their heels, which they're actually going to be moving pretty quickly to adapt. So I think there's going to be the implementation of agentic AI workflows into healthcare systems and into biotech and pharma systems. I think that we're going to see a consolidation of a lot of technology. Like we're going to see a decrease in the number of Me Too products because they're realizing pretty quickly that it's tapped out. It's not, the gold rush is not worth it anymore. Like hopefully people are going to stop building scribes and revenue cycle management systems because they realize that they're going into a market with like 10,000 other people, and we're going to find as new releases come out from the tech giants, from Google and OpenAI and others, it's going to become clear what's obsolete. Pay attention to what they're not doing, and that's where you can really succeed.
That's the gaps. Is there anything that we've not covered, Doug, that you'd like to share to either potential founders thinking about health tech, or healthcare and starting something, or people that are in it at the moment? Anything you'd like to share based on, speaking to 820 odd startups and obviously your network around that as well?
Yeah, well, number one, don't be shy to talk to us. I speak to a bunch of investors. They're like, well, we probably don't need to share deal flow with you. And I always laugh. I'm like, you know what? For all we know, we have 800 really bad startups in our pipeline. And if you're the unicorn that comes to us, we're eternally grateful. So don't be shy. We are reviewing every single application and talking to every startup that matches our thesis, really. We meet with about 20 a week at minimum. Number two, keep just building and tinkering, like even if it sounds like it's silly, and talking to lots of people. Like I think the best way you can really break into anything and build, just get out there, go to events, go talk to people, go host events if you can, find sponsors who will pay for your events. They're out there. You don't have to pay for it, but you can certainly be at the bell of the ball if you want to, as long as with a little creativity, and talk to, if you're building in healthcare, talk to patients, talk to doctors, talk to scientists. Like eventually, if you speak to, let's say, 100 people about the same problem,
you'll figure out whether you're onto something.
Or if you should just stop.
Well, exactly. Okay. Well, look, Doug, thank you so much for your time. We've come to an end, so I really appreciate your time. I'm sure the listeners will learn loads from the past sort of 40 minutes. So thank you once again for being part of the Transformational Blueprints.
Thank you so much, Mario, and I appreciate you having me on the show.
Audio Jungle.